Hello, so welcome to Customer. You've downloaded the application and successfully signed up. The question is, how do I use this application? What next? So once you're signed up into Customer and you log in, the first thing you need to do is to enter your stock inventory, and we'll show how you do that. Simply go to the stock inventory, right? And you just add item by clicking the plus button on the top right corner. By clicking this, it brings out a page to enter the name of the product and other details. So I can say Gary. Okay, I can say that the quantity of Gary I have is 20 bags, and this is optional. To add your cost price, I could say that the cost price is 500 naira, whereas the selling price is 600 naira. If you do not add your cost price, it's fine, but the app won't be able to calculate your profit. So after putting all these items, you also have the option of putting in the reorder level. The reorder level means the quantity you don't want your stock for that item to go below. So once it gets to that number, the application customer itself starts to send you a notification to restock or just take notes. So once we do that, we can just click on add item. So you can see it says product created successfully. Now we could add another item, let's say Milo, right? And let's just say that the quantity we have for Milo is 10, and the cost price for each Milo, let's say, is 900, and the selling price is 1000. Voila, and we are done. Add item. So that is just basically how to add items, right? So you can see right now that you have 2 items in your stock inventory. So the next thing you need to do is to make a sale. How do you make a sale? You go to your sales invoice. Once you're in your sales invoice, you click on new sale. When you click on new sale, you have the option of editing the customer name from what it already is. So let's just clear this and write Frank. It's quite simple, right? Now this date here, you don't want to use it because it's used to enter a sale made on a different day, but we're assuming that this sale is for today, so we click on start sale. So once you click on start sale, it opens up an invoice for Frank. Now I click on add item. When I click on add item, I click on Gary, right? And I click on set product. Once I set the product, it says product added successfully. I could click on Milo too, and let's say I want to buy Milo. I could click on 2 if I want, and I'll do that. I could also change the price depending on what I want. So that's that. So you see that now I can also increase the price, the quantity of Gary, or reduce the quantity depending on what I personally want. So once I'm done, if I want to send this as a quote, that's if I want to send this to someone's WhatsApp, right, as a quote invoice, like a pro forma invoice, I click on send quote. Now when I click on send quote, it brings it up my WhatsApp. Then I choose the contact person I want to send to, and I just send that. But the thing about quote is that it does not deduct from your stock inventory, right? Because you're sending something that someone is requesting to know the price about, not something the person is actually purchasing. But if I want to send a quote, if I want to send an invoice to someone's PDF, all I need to do is click here, save PDF on checkout. Now once I click on it, anytime I make a sale and check it out, so let's go back and put back our Frank, right? And we add just 2 items. Remember, you could increase the quantity from here, then click on checkout. Now Frank here, if Frank is paying me the entire 3,200, then I will go ahead and click either checkout or checkout and print. But let's say, for example, Frank is paying me a part payment of 1,000 naira. What I would do is I will wipe the amount here, 3,200, and just write 1,000, which is what Frank is giving me. Automatically, customer is going to save the balance as a debt under Frank's name, right? So you can see that it has changed to debt sale. But if Frank is paying me nothing, I can write 0. If he's paying me everything, I can write 3,200, which is what he's paying me. So depending on what it is Frank is paying, you can write it there. Let's say 1,000, right? If you have a printer, you click on checkout and print. If you don't, you just click on checkout. So once you've checked that out, voila, you're done. You can now go to your sales records to see that sale. You can see that what Frank bought, you can see the recent sale, and you can see sales by product, which shows you the products sold, a comprehensive list of products sold for that period of time, for that day, whatever it is. Now remember, Frank paid only 1,000, so I go to debtors, right? And what I see here is that Frank is still owing 2,200. If Frank comes the next day and he pays a certain amount, I can update that sale by clicking on update, and let's say 1,500, update debt. Automatically Frank is now owing 700. I could also view the payment history of how Frank has actually paid. So it's that simple. So this is how to enter your stock inventory, make a sale that is a debt sale or a credit sale, and view your records and profits. So you can see that it shows you your profit on each product that is being sold. So that's that. Now the next thing we're going to try to do is to add a debt. We assume that you're going to have debtors, so you can add debtors by going to debt, right? Clicking on the plus on the top. You can write the name of the person, or you can pick the name. Let's say Tonya, right, is owing 5,000, right? And let's say the person, the debt started today, so we're going to just add that. Automatically it adds, and you can update it the same way we did for Frank and every other thing. So it's quite simple. The same thing applies to the expenses. The expenses is actually one of the modules that works even when your subscription has elapsed, so you could take advantage of that. So the expenses, click on the plus button on the top right corner. You can choose the category. Maybe you bought some food, let's say 500 naira, and you want to leave a note to just remind yourself of what that thing that you bought. You could say rice and stew, or whatever you feel like doing. Okay, just add that, and you've added your expenses. It's that simple. Now when you do all this, you can go to the dashboard, which is the block icons, which are the block icons on the top right corner of your menu. You click on it, it shows you like a comprehensive computation of what your sales for that day is. So you can see that you've made like a profit of 400 naira, but because of your expenses, your real profit is minus 100 naira, so you're making like a loss. You can see the number of people that are owing you, you can see the number of products you still have. It's quite easy. Now most importantly, all these things you're entering, they are all records, so they need to be saved. One way to save them is just to click this circular arrow button on your menu, on the right corner of your menu, right? You can click it. Once you click on it, it says the sync has started, right? Now when I bring down my phone notification bar, I can see that the sync is completed, which is quite simple. So another way you can actually make sure that your records are synced is by going to settings, data sync, and clicking on the sync now. But you could also enable the auto sync, which syncs every 30 minutes, such that when it's every 30 minutes, your records are synced to save them and to make sure that you're always covered, right? So this is how you sync records. Now how do you create a new business? This is quite easy. To create a new business, all you need to do is go to the business management, right? You click on the plus orange button below, and you enter the business details. Once you enter the business details and you click on create business, it's done. You've created a new business. Now let's say you have multiple users and you want to create an additional user in an existing business. What do? You click on the three dots beside the business, right? you click on manage. When you click on manage, it brings you up to a page where you can see the number of users in your business. So if you want to create an additional user, you click on the plus button on the top right corner, put in the user's details, the phone number, and click next. And you just have to be careful. You just have to remember what you use as the username and as the password. A lot of people make the mistake of entering in a password, but your keypad could auto-correct it into something different, such that when you try to log in, it will tell you invalid or username or password that is invalid, right? So you just have to be careful of what you're entering as your username and as your password, and make sure it is correct as you intended it to be. So that is how to create the password, and that is how to create that. So that is basically it for costoma. If you have any other questions, you could reach out to us via our WhatsApp, or you could send us a mail on